Hello, welcome to Art Bytes with the Marianna Kistler Beach Museum of Art. My name is Georgia Allgaier and I am a gallery teacher. I'd like to start showing you this teapot from the collection created by Stephen C. Rolf. And today I'd like you to focus on this question: what is a teapot? Now, today's Art Byte is going to be a little bit different than usual. I want to take you on a journey with the goal of pushing your brain to think outside of the pot. So a teapot is defined by Webster's dictionary as a vessel with a spout and a handle in which tea is brewed and from which it is served. So let's take a look at some of the funky teapots we have in our collection. First, we have one by Esther Ikeda and Yoshiro Ikeda. Esther was born in Brazil. Yoshiro was born in Japan, and they met and got married in California. And then Yoshiro got a position as an art professor here at Kansas State University, and so they moved to Kansas. I'd like to draw your attention to the size of this teapot on the right, standing at almost 3 feet tall. And my question for you is, why do you think he would create this enlarged teapot? The next two I'd like to show you here, we have Scott Dooley, who was born and raised in Kansas, and he studied for his undergrad history, philosophy, and German. And he eventually went to K-State University to get his MFA in art, and he worked with Yoshiro Ikeda as well. So that's kind of a neat connection. And his work is described as being energetic. Patrick Horsley, also on this page, is an Oregon artist. And when he was speaking about his work, he said, and I quote, "The challenge of my work is to combine the many elements, handles, feet, spouts, and lids, into a work that dances and presents a new view and image of a familiar form. My primary interest is in the process and the physical dance of making the pots." When you look at these two artists' work together, do you think they have achieved this movement and this energy and this dance? And how do they do that? Are they doing this in similar or different ways? Our next two here, before you look at the labels, my question for you is, what do you think the teapots are made of? What material? So we have Patrick Taddy here. He's a Canadian-born artist, also a K-State graduate with an MFA. And we have Tim Mather, who's born in Pennsylvania. And when Mather is speaking of his current work, he said, "I am seeking to stretch the imagination and to provoke a reconsideration of the extended possibilities of meaning and metaphor in the stuff that surrounds us on a daily basis." So I'm curious what kind of stuff you can recognize and identify between the two teapots. And these are both ceramic, so I'm wondering if that surprises you. Here we have a teapot by Richard Notkin called Heart Teapot. And he was born in Chicago and received his BFA from Kansas City Art Institute, then went to California to get his MFA. And his work is described as being a vehicle for political commentary. What message do you think his teapot aims to inspire? We also have a teapot by Thomas Skeffington. And as we push our brains a little outside of the pot, I'm saying today, do you still think these are teapots? And would you use them or show them, have them displayed in your home? Our next slide here, we have 3 featured teapots. We have one by Dong Hee Suh, we have one by Sue Huh, and one by Patrick Shea Crab. Now, we have an Art Byte last month about Patrick Shea Crab. So if you are interested in more details about his process, his art, his life, you can absolutely check that out. And I would like you to take a moment to observe the work on this slide. How do they compare to how we think about more traditional teapots? And do you think they still fit into our original definition of a vessel with a spout and a handle in which tea is brewed and in which it is served? I have two final questions for you. The first, I'm curious if one of these or a couple of these teapots really grabbed your attention and interested you the most, and I'm curious why. And then I'm going to leave you with my final question of how funky is too funky? Thank you for joining me today.